Hey, it's Martin here and welcome back to the channel, and today we're taking a look at the 2021 Hyundai Kona. This is the refreshed version and we're down the park with this car today to have a look at it, and this is the view that I think will look most different to most people. If you've seen the Kona before, yep, that angle looks pretty different because of the front styling changes, but we'll come on to those in a moment. A quick walk around of the car. This is the ultimate spec in case you're interested. This color is surfy blue and we think it really pops as well. So the battery, as always, underneath on the Kona, it's a 67.5 kilowatt hour gross pack, 64 kilowatt hour usable on this. Now, I've been driving this for the last couple of weeks, and around town, look, the real world range is 280 or 300 miles on the highway, not much less actually. Some changes around the rear of the vehicle as well compared to the previous Kona. This car is box fresh, by the way, only a few hundred miles from the factory. And then back to the side view again, just to give you an idea of how the Kona looks, but otherwise done very few miles, this car, pretty much straight from Hyundai. And this is the view that'll look most different to anyone that's seen the Kona before. Nice flat finish on the front of the car, which I think is a real design upgrade. Still the offset charging flap off to one side, and because the previous Kona had lots of detailing on the front, it kind of hid the fact that this was offset and not centered. But it looks, maybe it stands out to some who would like it in the middle of the car, but it looks absolutely fine. We've got some cooling under there for the radiators and the various bits that need cooling on an EV, but otherwise a completely flat, aerodynamic, smooth front. These lights have some new detailing on this version of the Kona, so all LED lights all around. And behind here we have some detailing that every time I look at it I think there's condensation inside it, but it's not. It's just the style of the lights, and we have some little aero tweaks and stuff here to divert the air around the tires to get some more range out of the vehicle. Nice body colored bumpers and trim, so a lot of this segment of car tend to have big black strips everywhere, but this is all body colored and we think that looks really nice, including these wing mirrors here. Moving around to the side of the car, conventional door handles on the Hyundai, nothing fancy. And then you go back to the rear of the car, and again we have some new detailing here on the lights, so these are new and this is different for this version of the Kona. So again, on the ultimate spec, we have things like the reversing camera under here, and I'll show you the screen inside in just a moment. And then coming around to this rear quarter view of the car, we have some nice window tinting on this spec of the car, and otherwise all looking pretty similar to how you think the Kona would look up until now, but some really good changes to this vehicle, some upgrades. Let's go for a drive. Okay, let's get in the front and have a look at the car from the driver's perspective. Now, I've been driving this for a couple of weeks and I've been really impressed with it. So it still has a start-stop button down here. Some EVs just turn on when you get in. Lots of bings and bongs in this car. Head-up display coming up there, as you can see. And if I open the door, it'll start bonging to me any minute. Oh, it's not going to do it this time. Otherwise, every time you do anything, bings and bongs to remind you of what you've done. So we love the big display here in the middle of the car, and not angled towards the driver or anything. So this is something that can be used by the passenger just as equally. Nice map and sat nav in here as well. And the mix of hard buttons and soft buttons and on screen we really like. Down here we have the gear selectors. So we're in park right now, but we can choose neutral, foot on the brake, drive, and an electronic handbrake as well. I pop it back in neutral and pull it up. That engages the electronic brake. So we have both heated and cooled seats, so we can turn the seats on. And this is properly air-conditioned, ventilated seats as well, not just blowing air, but blowing cold air, which is a real nice touch actually, but also heated as well. Here is where we can change from eco to normal and sport mode. We have a heated steering wheel, and you can even bring on the reversing camera if you want. And that is highlighting one of the first things about the car, which is one of the less good things that we like, which is so much of it is on this part of the screen. So if you bring up Apple CarPlay and you can plug your Apple CarPlay in here, it does have wireless cheap charging, so you can throw your mobile phone in here. I'm filming on it right now, so I can't, but you can throw your phone in here and it fits. I use an iPhone 10, and it absolutely fits fine in here. And Apple CarPlay also appears on this. So this part of the screen very rarely used, which is a bit of a shame and a missed opportunity. So down here we have our HVAC controls, and again, a nice mix of just the buttons that you need to hit instantly, but also some software stuff as well that you can use on the screen. Down here on the dash, a full digital TFT display now on the Hyundai Kona. So I think this looks great. I've seen people online saying they think it looks a bit squished and not great, but I think the resolution is fine on this, and actually has all the information that you need to know. And the animations are nice. You can change what you're showing on screen as well. So I can have a look at where I'm going, my directions, the tire pressures, my attention level. So I'm high, which is a good thing. And also the drive information too. We can see how we've done since we recharged here after recharging. And if I go one more, we have the accumulated info. So I'm actually up to 1,300 miles now in a couple of weeks in this car. Been driving it around lifetime, 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour. And what we really want to do is take this for a drive. So we'll strap on the head cam. Okay, the head cam is strapped on, we can go. Let's put it into drive. I'm not sure if the head-up display is showing for you, but it's certainly a nice feature to have. You can raise and lower that, by the way, if you want to. So as we pull away, I think we're probably we're in eco mode right now. I suspect that's the default mode, but we can use the button just down here to change that into normal or sport. What are the differences? Well, certainly the throttle pickup is 1 in sport mode. This is a very rapid car, and it will break traction at 20 or 30 miles an hour if you really floor it. That is a quirk of the Hyundai Kona. It's still in this one as well, so it will spin the tires up if you absolutely floor it. Well, I take a little drive through the park and I can show you some of the driving features of this. And on the display we can see we have the speed on the left hand side and our current power on the right. And if I let off the throttle, we can start to see that regen going in there. Talking of regen, one of the most interesting features about the Kona, and this feature is continued into the new Hyundai Ioniq 5 as well, their model which is out in 2021, and it's these paddles behind the steering wheel which affect the regen. So if I pull on this paddle here, we can see here it's gone down to 2 and 1 and 0, and then again on the other side you can increase the level of regen so that you're not using the brake pedal as much. So if I want to pull on this left hand lever, we'll go to level 1 of regen, level 2, and level 3 is pretty strong, but it won't bring you to a complete halt. However, you can indeed pull on this lever completely and it will come down to a 0 mile an hour stop, and then when it is at 0 miles an hour, it will then, I'm not pushing the brake right now, it will then hold the car there. So that's a really nice feature that I think a lot of people like about the Kona. As we head off, you'll see this nice thick steering wheel with some tactile buttons which will please some people. No of these buttons that are quite common at the moment in some of the newer VWs, which some people call haptic, but they're the kind of shiny ones that you have to rub your finger over to do volume up and down. Some people will be pleased to know that there is indeed a just a volume knob, a physical button. On the steering wheel we can change the infotainment, volume, telephone calls. We can change our cruise control or maximum speed. So this has adaptive cruise as well and highway driving assist. So this is a really useful level 2 driver assistance system that when we engage it, and we've engaged it now at 20 miles an hour cruise control through the park, I believe it's the speed limit through the park here, we can set that cruise control distance as well. So I have that set to a follow distance of 1. You can't see it because I've disengaged cruise, but as soon as I re-engage it, I will be able to show you that. So there's 2 settings you've got. There's both the cruise control follow distance, either 1, 2 or 3, and also there's the aggressiveness as well of how quickly it gets back up to speed after you the car in front pulls away. Right, this is kind of unexpected. We'll let the Canada geese just cross the road. and I'll talk about the car while the geese cross. On the infotainment system, it's a nice big screen on here. You'll be more interested in the EV functions on here, so we can have a look at the battery right now, how long it's going to be for the DC fast charger to get to full, and the AC. This charges at 11 kilowatts AC, and you can indeed change the charge limit. So if you want to go to 70 or 80 or 90%, for instance, you can do that on here. And some nice functions to tell you the guessometer, which is pretty accurate based on not an algorithm but how you've been driving recently. And also if we turn the climate control off, which we can do down here, or we can turn it back on, and it'll tell you the range you've got, or with the climate on or off, as we still wait for the geese to go past. This is rush hour for geese in the park. Nice air conditioning system in here with great climate control, and a nice feature of the Hyundais is the driver only function. So again, that makes the most of just blowing cold air out of this vent and this vent to keep you nice and cool when you are in the car on your own. Again, that's great for efficiency. In terms of EVs, we're always looking at saving energy, and we can pop that back into auto mode there and just cool down the whole car. I think I still have, yep, we still have the cooled seats on, a nice cool air blowing around the driver. So a fantastic experience here in the Hyundai Kona 2021 model year. I thought we'd do some more driving than we did today, but perhaps the strangest YouTube video you'll watch today. We're just in the park waiting for the geese to cross. If you'd like to know anything else about this car, let us know in the comments below and we can keep the conversation going. There we go. They're finally crossed. You lot can wait over there. We'll pull up here and just finish the video off with a few conclusions, and let us know anything else that we can talk about in the comments below with this new Hyundai Kona. So as the boats sail on the lake, let's conclude our video for the Hyundai Kona. 3 things that we like and 3 things that we don't like so much about this car. One thing that we really love is the redesigned front end, looking much sharper than the previous model. We think that's a big improvement. Also loving the efficiency as well, an average of 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour. I've been driving this for the last couple of weeks, and that includes a lot of motorway miles at 72 miles an hour, which is 70 GPS. And we also love the ability to change the regen settings inside and the mixture of hard buttons and soft buttons inside the car. What don't we like so much? Well, we have to say that legroom in the back of the Kona is the same as the last one, and that is a bit of a weak point on this car. So not the most storage for families, and again the boot is a little bit smaller than its equivalent car, the Kia e-Niro. Also not particularly loving the lack of any storage in the front. There's loads of room under here, but no frunk, sadly, in this one. But otherwise, Hyundai Kona 2021 model year, we give it a big thumbs up.